What's up? What's up? And thank you for tuning in. This is the fourth installment of what I'm calling Saturday Scrimmage. All right, Saturday Scrimmage is basically a show where I do more NFL talk and it's not so much focused on the Minnesota Vikings. So, with that being said, I got a special guest host, my boy from Purple and Gold Bars. Here we go. How you doing today, man?
Hey, not bad, D Woods. How about yourself, man?
Oops, my bad. Sorry about that. Well, I'm just getting ready for this early morning game that we got from our Minnesota Vikings. I mean, we can always start with them because that's going to be the first game, on Sunday, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I hope that they can build some kind of momentum going, to the next game, to the Cleveland Browns, and on to after the bye week, because I don't know if you guys tuned into my last video I did last night on Friday, but I mean, it's a gauntlet after the bye. So you got to stack some wins where you can, because at this point, it can't be no excuses. So how you feel about tomorrow's game for our Minnesota Vikings in Dublin against the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, I'm actually feeling pretty confident. But just to double down on that notion, when you got a gauntlet like that or a tough schedule, you can't lose the easy wins. That's why that Atlanta Falcons game really hurts. But injuries play a massive factor in that game, and it is what it is. They beat us kicking field goals. So that's one of my favorite trash talks, is like, how are you guys going to beat us when you guys are going to be kicking field goals all game? And it actually happened. I was like, oh, okay, injuries and bad play from our side. But when it comes to tomorrow, I don't think it's going to be like a massively a high scoring game or anything like that. I think it's going to be hard fought. I think it's going to be decisive, a decisive win for us, at least by 10 points. So my prediction was pretty low, either 24-21 for the Vikings to 13, 13-14, something like that. Something where it's just a nice hard fought defensive win. There's going to be a lot of struggles on our side, because it's probably going to be the first defense that has the potential to really make us struggle in areas. But thank goodness their offense isn't great right now. Sometimes It's more about when you face them than how good they are or how prepared you might be. So I think that's going to play a massive factor. And A-Rod has been struggling this year, right? It's a thing of it's another thing that I've been harping on, right? These not having that fourth preseason game really hurts some teams. And older teams like this, you know what I mean? These guys are struggling, So, but you never know. They have the talent to just fix the ship and come out here and actually look like they did, like the defense looked like last year, and maybe their potential might be closer. But at the same time, I'm gonna bank on the fact that they've been struggling on the running game. Their left tackle is struggling quite a bit, and this pass rush is just gonna cause too much for them, and we're just gonna end up that classic situation. We're just gonna have way more drives than they will, and so we're gonna score, and they're gonna be their defense will be struggling because they'll be just tired by the end of the game.
And I'm glad you said the pass rush, because I just dropped the short about a couple of hours ago, and I'm hoping that Dallas Turner has a tremendous game tomorrow. I'm hoping that this is going to be his breakout game. I just want the kid to do a whole lot better, because it's not better, but I just want him to solidify himself, on this roster, into this fan base, because you see it on Twitter, you see it, on social media a lot, where a lot of people are so impatient with Dallas Turner, especially last season with the whole situation of hey, how is he not playing, and comparing him to Jerry Verse. And I just really want him to have this game to where he comes in here. We know he's going to be starting because Van Ginkel is not playing. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. And I just really hope that he comes in there and maybe a few pressures, maybe a 2-sack game, just basically make his presence felt this game. So we can say all right, cool. We got something in Dallas Turner. And to talk about Van Ginkel, bro, I was doesn't it feel good to have somebody young, behind, these older veterans who are going through injuries at the beginning of the season? Like, hey, what would we be doing right now if we didn't have Dallas Turner on his roster? Pat Jones left in free agency. I
Yep.
mean, we haven't gotten anything from Gabe Murphy as of yet. So it's kind of like, man, this is a luxury right now. And this is why, we talk about patience, especially with this team, especially when it comes from the young guys. Because hey, it's a luxury, man. Like Dallas Turner was projected to be like a top 10 pick in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And he fell. So I'm hoping big things from him. But as of my score prediction for the game, I'm just like, I don't really get into the score prediction situation, especially with the Vikings. I do it because it's fun. But at the end of the day, my whole thing is like, just keep stacking wins. Just keep stacking wins. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Two-Tone, thank you for tuning in. What's up, Zoe? Sorry we couldn't get you on here, but I'll drop that link if you want to come in and for a second, a pop and drop, as we will call it. But let's keep it moving, man. Because
to kind of like, I want to kind of make a comment as well, or like kind of piggyback on your Dallas Turner analysis there, because like I get it, like I think it's such a superficial take for people to like from last year, like when people were complaining about Dallas Turner, because I was thinking to myself, like, if we really stop and think of the situation that he's in, right? So he's got a litany of guys that are experienced and are B-flow guys and already ready to do what Brian Flores wants, right? And so he's got to work himself up to the point where he can compete and earn a spot to get more reps, right? So that's a big factor. Now, if we had like a Bear style defense or like a Bronco style defense, which is more vanilla and is more about hustle and everybody doing their job, and it's more of like a standard defense, yeah, he probably would have hit the ground running a lot faster. But B-flow scheme is really complicated, and if you can't fill the role, you're not going to be on the field. And when you got like 2, 3, 4 guys ahead of you, it's going to be extremely harder. But as the season progressed, by like week 8 or week 9, then he started getting on the field, right? And it was kind of like once he had already digested and become more and more of a B-flow guy. Now moving on to year 2, we're seeing him on the field more, and he's already got a sack, and he was the one on the pressure that caused Jake Browning to throw that ball that got tipped to Isaiah Rodgers for the pick 6, right? So that's to me, that's I'm not ignoring that. That's a lot. You know what I mean? Had 6 pressures on the game, and he was impactful, right? So it's nice because you're right. Like in hindsight, I was thinking going in this game, there's going to be like a breakout player this game, and I'm thinking it's more going to be like Redmond, like against the run stop and stuff like that, and or just kind of like that's who I was kind of feeling based on the opponent. But then Van Ginkel is out, and I'm like, oh, Dallas Turner's going to get a lot of those reps. He might actually break out as well. I'm like, I like those 2 options for a breakout. So like now this year, what is I forgot that guy's name already, but what is he doing in comparison to how Dallas Turner does this year, right? So if he is lights out, Jared Verse. If Dallas Turner is lights out while Van Ginkel is out, then what were people complaining about, right?
Exactly. I just think like it's all about like recency bias when basically, especially in the draft, to where it's like you get some people in the fan base, they're basically like, all right, Jared Verse is doing good, he's making these plays, hey, we could have drafted him. And it's like hindsight is always 2020, and I understand that a whole lot more than I'm a little bit older, but it's like, come on, like be happy with what you got. Like Jared Verse is like 25, maybe 26 years old. Dallas Turner is only 22. I mean, him and Jason McCarthy were the 2 youngest guys drafted in their respective drafts. So it's kind of like, just have the patience. You feel me? Like, just have the patience. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, if Dallas Turner gets this opportunity to where he's going to be playing a whole lot more, with the absence of Van Ginkel, and he doesn't show, that dominance, he doesn't show like, hey, he can't be that dude, then we can have that discussion. Because right now he's getting the opportunity. right now, because it's like you said though, Brian Flores' system is cerebral. You have to know where you gotta go, where you gotta be. You have to know where the next person next to you has to be. You have to know everything about this defense to actually play in it and be productive. And it took him a year to kind of figure things out. And now he's coming to the second year, and you can kind of see like, hey, he's hitting the ground running. And just like you said about the Bengals game, he's actually making an impact. And people like, it's so easy to look at the back of the card stats. Oh, he had this many sacks, this and that. But sometimes you get better things that happen after the sack. That's not even a sack. Because just like you talked about the Bengals game, if he sacks, the quarterback, then
there's no pick six.
No pick six.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So there's no pick six. So it's kind of like, yeah, come on, man. Like we gotta be a little bit patient. But yeah, it's teamwork. It is what it is. So, and I was thinking about this today, and I remember, we had a long live last week, and I just want to say this though, right? I'm gonna admit when I'm wrong. I'm a dial it back on Brian Flores a little bit. All right, I'm gonna dial it back a little bit. I'm gonna let it play out. I still have my gripes, but damn, that defense was humming last week. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I'm gonna give him what credit is due. I'm gonna still call things out when I see it, but I gotta give Brian Flores his flowers and Kevin O'Connell his flowers, because I would say both sides of the ball kind of, they coached two good games. So, mm-hmm. So I mean, you got anything else about our Vikings?
I'm 1,000%. The impatience thing is the thing that really gets me, right? There's two things I keep crashing out about is the impatience on JJ McCarthy, and the thing is that what people don't understand what they're actually asking for when they say we should roll with Carson Wentz, and that's what drives me nuts. Because freaking for me, I have the luxury, because in my professional world, like in my education, like I've always been told, like, don't data mine freaking small sample sizes, and wait until a good amount of time, because if you don't have patience in certain areas, in certain fields, especially in market research, you can really like shit the bed. Let's be real, right? And so I have also that ability to kind of step back and try to look at the bigger picture and see what's actually there, because I was forced to do that on a daily basis, right? And so that really crashes me out. And the other thing that made me crash out yesterday on yesterday's stream is freaking Robert Saleh, man. This guy is the biggest bitch in the NFL. I'm gonna say it right now. This guy is a straight up pussy guy, dude. Okay, so he comes out and he starts accusing. So in the press conference, he's asked, what's going to be like, the toughest challenge for you coming up against the Jaguars this upcoming weekend, right? And he goes, oh, well, it's because of that, that Kevin O'Connell, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan tree, they're experts at legal sign stealing, and that's going to be the biggest freaking factor that we're going to have to deal with. They're really, really good at that. I'm like, bro, okay, you're talking about gamemanship. You said it's illegal. So what they're doing is just trying to find areas like anybody does when you want to find advantages in whatever it is you do. If you want to start a YouTube channel, you want to find out what areas of YouTube that you have knowledge on and that people aren't getting videos for. So you find that opportunity and you go for it. That's just research. That's just being smart, right? And for you to come out and be like, oh, this is the freaking problem that we're going to have, and I'm like, hey, bro, how about you fucking grow some balls and fucking stop worrying about the shit that you freaking can control, and you fucking prepare your defense. And it doesn't matter if you are that guy, you would be fucking me like, I don't care if you know all our signals, we're going to outplay you. You know what I mean? We have schemes, we have things in plan.
Because like why would he say something like that when he's in a system that he sees every day that's similar to what we run? Because he's up there with Shanahan, basically, right? So it's kind of like
he's calling his own team out too.
Yeah, it's like what are you saying?
The shade like, you on KOC, McVay, Shanahan, I was just like, because the thing is that the new head coach from the Jaguars poached a couple of our coaching staff in the offseason, right?
Yeah.
So that's why he's thinking it's like it's going to be that kind of feel, right? So I'm like, bro,
he took our quarterback coach and made him offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, like, can you freaking show some freaking self-respect and stop complaining like a freaking little girl? Like, come on, bro. Focus on what you can control. If they are good at that, learn how to disguise your signals or make them like, you know, in baseball, when the guy's on the third line, whatever, like third base coach or whatever, he's throwing out signals. Do you hear them complaining? It's like, no, they have to come up with ingenious ways to get the message across without giving it away. And even if, and the other team's trying to figure that out too. It's part of the game. So I'm like, bro, how about you just get your team better prepared and stop being a clown and using stupid excuses like this? Like, literally, I crashed out for like 10 minutes on it on yesterday's live. It just bugs me because I'm like, for me, I'm very much a guy that's like, do the hard work, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I've always done in my career, right? Like, I don't care what other people are doing. Just let me focus on what I'm doing, and if I'm better, then that will prove everything. So no need to complain. Just shut up and put your head down and do the work, you know? It just pisses me off.
That's just wow. But yeah, as of for the McCarthy situation, like, you guys already know how I stand on it. Like, I want him to get the opportunities just like Dallas Turner to show what he has. And there's a couple of things that I just, I kind of expressed it last night, but I'm going to express it again because I want people to understand, like, some of the nonsense that's coming out from like a lot of people who are close to the situation or feel like they're close to the situation. It's like, it's just fucking bullshit. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just really don't understand it. And one of the things that I don't understand, like, is when people say like, oh, Carson Wentz gives the Vikings the best chance to win. And you have to understand that the veterans on the team, they want to win. And my whole thing when my pushback is like, okay, Carson Wentz, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, Carson Wentz gives them the best chance. The motherfucker only been here for a month. These guys that you're talking about are veterans that re-signed with this team or signed with this team for agency. They signed during the offseason. They've been here grinding the whole time. And I'm willing to bet you that they knew coming in here to the situation that they were going to have a young developing quarterback on his roster and he was going to be the guy. They're not going to Kevin O'Connell or Brian Flores like, man, we need Carson Wentz. The guy's only been here, a couple of weeks. You can kind of have that argument if it was like Daniel Jones stayed and he was here the whole season, and then it's like, okay, we want that guy. But you really want to point out a guy who's just been here, and you're going to say veterans on the roster want to win, and they feel like that guy who just got here is the person that's going to make them win off of playing one damn game where the defense was actually the most dominant and scored 2 touchdowns. Like, come on, like, don't just make shit up. That's just what I hate. Like don't do it. It just makes no sense. It's like you're just trying to like cherry pick shit to support your argument, because at the end of the day, you really feel like, okay, maybe McCarthy is not the guy, and Wentz had a great game, and now you want to roll with that. This isn't Sam Darnold. This isn't Kirk Cousins. This is a guy that was brought in here because last minute, and the other guys that were on the roster before him are no longer on this team because they couldn't play. And what was the whole situation we were talking about in all season? Man, the Vikings got to do something about the backup quarterback, because just in case something happens with McCarthy, you want to have somebody that can come in there and actually win in the game. Well, he did that. Yeah, that's why he was here. This is what we asked for. So don't change the narrative now to where it's like, oh, it doesn't matter if he's playing well. He should play well, because that's why we went out and signed him and got rid of the other 2 guys. So just in case McCarthy got hurt, we can have a guy that can win the game and won't fucking explode. Absolutely. and I 1,000% agree. And to me, it's like what they say. They don't even realize that what that better chance with Carson Wentz is actually statistically roughly the same chance that we have with JJ.
because
Exactly.
it is just a miracle chance. Like, honest to God, I would love for a complete miracle, like Disney story situation where JJ comes in here and by week 7, he's looking like a dominant franchise quarterback and he takes us deep into the playoffs and we actually make the Super Bowl and we win. That would
Yeah.
be incredible. But I understand that that is such an extremely low percentage. It's probably like less than 1%. Same with Carson Wentz. There's a reason he's been on 6 teams in 6 years.
In
You
6
know,
years.
and there's
'Cause
a
he
reason why nobody picked him up until we did at the very last second, right? That's a
Yeah.
massive factor. So really what they're asking for is a Cinderella chance from Carson Wentz, which is the exact same Cinderella chance that we would have with JJ McCarthy.
Mhm.
And the impact of going with Wentz over JJ long term opens up for everything to literally fall apart. If we decide to go for it, right? We roll with JJ or with Carson and we win 9-10 games, whatever the bare minimum is to sneak into the playoffs, right? What happens if we could probably beat a flawed wild card team, right? Because another flawed team, they're going to have as much weaknesses as we would, and if we can capitalize, we can move on. But once we face an actual playoff team, an actual threat,
he will get
those
exposed.
defenses are gonna literally make Carson Wentz only win through his his weaknesses. You know what I mean? They're gonna force him just like they did with Sam Darnold last year. And then what? We got 2 years in a row where we get bounced out in humiliating fashion. And on top of that, because Carson Wentz got all the reps this year, next season we're not going to have Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz will go sign some team and be like, oh my God, he got $33 million because from the fucking Falcons or some bullshit, right? And then they'll be like, oh, we should have kept it. And then we're going to bring in some other reclamation project. And then because JJ hasn't
went all over again.
Exactly. And because JJ hasn't freaking developed, he's going to struggle again. And then there's going to be the exact same morons be like, oh, we need to go with Matt Jones or with, oh, we got Trevor Lawrence. We can fix him. We can whatever the fucking bullshit fucking reclamation project is. And then when the same thing happens, we win 9, 10, 11 games, we sneak into the playoffs, and then we lose with that bum. Do you think B-Flow's going to come back? Do you think fucking JJ's going to be on the roster that much longer? Do you think KOC isn't going to get fired or be on an extremely hot seat? And it's going to be those idiots after those 3 losses in a row that are going to be like, oh, let's blow it up. Let's get rid of all the coaches. Let's get rid of everybody, and let's restart at square one. I'm sick of this. And I'm like, you guys are
I just noticed that it's the same group of people that say the same ridiculous shit every year over and over again. And if you actually like look at it, you would be like, those were the guys that were saying like, oh, it's time to get rid of Kirk Cousins and get a young guy in. Those are the guys that want Carson Wentz right now. Like, I understand it, right? I understand it. If you just want to say, I want this team to win, I don't give a damn who's that quarterback. Is Johnny come lately? I don't care who's that quarterback. I want a Super Bowl. I can understand that, but just say that. Don't keep making excuses and be like, oh, well, this is not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. It's like, come on, we've been wanting a franchise quarterback for years.
It's our first one, and we can't even hold our fucking balls for long enough to fucking let them figure it out.
Exactly, and now it's time to actually give this kid some real development, and for him to actually, become the quarterback that we want him to be. He's going to have to get the reps, the real game reps. And I get people out there saying like, oh, if Carson Wentz plays good, I don't want McCarthy to play against the Philadelphia Eagles. Why not? The Philadelphia Eagles are the reigning Super Bowl champs. If you're not going to sink or swim against them, what
are you waiting for?
What's the measuring stick? You get what I'm saying? Like this isn't the preseason. The bullets are flying. Everything's live right now. The perfect time to put him in is after the bye week, because then you're going to see like what he's really made of, because you're going against like dominant teams that are at the top of the NFL every season. Every season. Buffalo, Baltimore, now the Chargers are extended and actually being, a bully in that division. Like what are we saying? Throw the kid in, see what he has. If he doesn't and I gave I would think it was a good analogy of a good thing to do. If McCarthy goes out there when he actually plays and you can tell that he's not ready yet and he's not getting it, the offense is basically after the second game, it's piss poor. I said this, and this is where I'm basically like being honest. If you see that he can't get it done, then you can sit him down. You can start winning the rest of the season. Tell McCarthy, hey, develop in the background, still be part of the meetings, and we do everything we gotta do to basically get you ready. And you know what you do? You tell Kwesi, we got all these draft picks. I need you to do one or two things during the offseason. Either draft a quarterback in the 4th round. Don't draft a quarterback in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. Draft him in the 4th round where you know he's going to be a project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you bring in a veteran who you know can start immediately. And you get those 3 guys in the room. Remember I said 3 guys. You get the new quarterback, McCarthy, and Brosmer. And you say, you know what? Here's the job for starting quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. Whoever excels and gets to the top is the starter long term. And you create a competition. That's what you have to do if he's not ready.
Mm-hmm.
But it ain't Carson Wentz.
And I get that logic too, but even then, I say, like I've been saying, I don't care if Carson Wentz goes out there the next 2 games and throws for 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. I do not care. JJ needs to start. And I don't care also that if JJ goes out there and we don't win a single game. I don't think that will be the case, but I always game plan by worst case scenario first. So then I can actually make realistic assessments, right? And even if he does that, right? Let's say he goes out there and he loses every single game and we realize, wow, we definitely chose wrong. Guess what? Now, instead of wasting 3 years or 4 years, we can actually pivot in the offseason, pick up someone like you said, an actual vet that gives us a real chance, not a reclamation project, not a freaking shot in the moon freaking chance with Darnold or Wentz, an actual guy that actually can win. You know what I mean? There's moves that can be made. There's, you know what I mean? There's teams out there that are looking like they're going to want to pivot, right? And so some of these veteran quarterbacks might be a bit more available than we even give credit in the offseason, right? Mm-hmm. So at that point, it gives us that option. But in my calculations, I was trying to figure out, my idea is if he plays out, we got a 35% chance to find out that he's him. And then we have a 35% chance to find out he's not. That's 70% chance to know exactly what to do for next year. Yeah. Instead of, if we run with Wentz, we're going to be in a situation where we're going to have to be still committed with JJ. And we can't really commit to a game plan or a strategy that is actually going to accomplish something of value. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest problem, right? And like Alex said earlier, frick, me and you could have been out there last week and we could have won that game. Honestly, we could have gone out there, handed off the ball 30 times and threw freaking 4 passes for -3 yards, and we would have won straight up. Right. So, it's just one of those things that it's just like it's not people don't understand too. It's not the cost of what we paid to move up or whatever to get JJ McCarthy. The price what we've actually paid is everything that we've done from when KOC has gotten here to the moment that we drafted JJ. All that is what we've invested in getting in the situation that we are. So if we move away from JJ, that's what we're throwing away. We're literally throwing away 3 years of preparation. Like, this is why I was so nervous going in the offseason, thinking that they were going to be idiots and freaking not be able to hold their resolve and re-sign Sam. Because at that point they're like, what did we just do this all for? Why did we do this? You know what I mean? Like, I would have literally freaking lost my mind. I would have been happy to see Sam, of course, because he's one of my new favorite quarterbacks and stuff, of course, and I would have rooted him on. But at the same time, I would know what the actual long-term cost is, what we're actually sacrificing from that, right? Because, like I'm saying, Sam Darnold has raised his floor significantly, but he has still has not faced enough meaningful, late season playoff games to where he can really focus on that freaking ability to overcome in those situations, right?
Right.
This year, he has another chance to do it. If he makes the playoffs, he might do a little bit of improvement, but I don't see him all of a sudden becoming freaking Peyton Manning-esque or anything like that and winning a Super Bowl. I think it's going to take him. I think next year we might start seeing some of that ability in the playoffs, and then going from then on. Then I'd be like, okay, this is when we should trade for Sam or something like that. You know what I mean? This is when we take him, but not like wasting these last 3 years. We played with house money last year. Let's have fun with that season, and now let's get back to the game plan that we've literally invested years in.
Right now. It's in the rearview mirror right now. It's like I just remember like when the Vikings got Sam Darnold in the offseason, last year, and that same group of people that were like, "Oh, he sucks. Why did they do this? Oh, why did they do this?" And it's like, let's just see what happens. And we won 14 games. It didn't end the way we wanted, but the Vikings still were a competitive team. They beat up on the bad teams like you're supposed to. They won games. And Sam had some games where he looked like crap. I'm not going to say he didn't. But at the same time, you saw him get a whole lot better. And that's the kind of development I want to see from McCarthy. And the only way we're going to see that is if he actually plays. I hope he starts practicing next week because I really want to see him against Cleveland first before, the bye. That way, with ankle injuries, you already know, like when you hurt, shit, it's all about that rebound. You can go out there and play because the adrenaline is running, but then that next day, that ankle might swell up. That way we'll know that, all right, he's cool. He's cool.
Definitely. T-Bass, I did some research on like quarterbacks and guys that kind of had slow starts or kind of revitalized when they got traded. Jim Plunkett, right? He got traded to the Steelers or the Broncos, and then he ended up in that season taking them to the Super Bowl, but he lost, right? If I'm not mistaken, because I remember I did a bunch of research about quarterbacks to try to get a good understanding of what has happened in the history of the NFL to kind of base a good judgment on Sam Darnold last year, so I could really understand, because before the season and early part of the season, right? Like we didn't know, like I was very much a Sam Darnold hater. I was the one laughing when Sam Darnold took the field in Carolina and stuff like that, right? I was like, oh, yeah, you know what I mean? I was the one making jokes and cracking jokes too. So I really gave him the benefit of the doubt, and I really looked into a bunch of quarterbacks that did that, right? And so I was I was early on board thinking he's gonna do or was it the Raiders? Oh, there's a couple guys that I saw that had, maybe I'm thinking of somebody else, but
let me get on this comment with T-Bass. He says no one ever questions Sam Darnold's accuracy or arm. They do it to Jim McCarthy, and this is the reason why. And I'm gonna just be blatantly honest. When Darnold was at USC, he was slinging that shit. Like he was out there slanging it. I don't remember who his receivers were, but Darnold was out there slinging it, and Darnold was projected to maybe be the number 1 overall pick in that draft. I think he slid, and that's crazy when you say he slid. He slid to 3. He was 3, right? He slid to 3, right? McCarthy was in a run-heavy offense under Harbaugh, and people didn't actually see him make the throws. But this is one thing when I give people pushback on that one, right? They didn't just win by running the ball 100% of the time. When he was asked to make the throws, he completed them. So there is something there. I'm gonna give you, a little bit by saying like, yeah, we didn't see a lot from him, and that's the reason why he gets questioned. But at the same time, you have to go look at some of the tape from Michigan for his throws of when, he threw the ball and he had to. They actually,
absolutely.
He did a good job.
Yeah, prior to the draft, I didn't know basically much about any of the quarterbacks, and like I always do, if that's a possibility, I literally watched all the throws for JJ. I didn't watch Caleb because I knew he was going to go to the Bears. Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, and there was another guy that I watched, and I can't remember now, but I watched all their highlights. And with Drake May, the one thing that I was like, he had a lot of big time plays and stuff like that. But when you really look at some of these plays, he like throws it into like double coverage. And because it's like behind the receiver or in a weird place, where the defenders aren't actually putting their hand up to stop, the guy can actually make the catch. There's one where he's like streaking from left to right. I still remember it. And this is the play that I remember was thinking, this is not the guy that I want. Because he's running, the tight end was running from left to right, and he throws the ball, and the tight end literally leans back and catches the ball here, while the defender is reaching to like this side of his shoulder. So like he completely whiffed on trying to block the pass. But if he was accurate, he would have had a hand in the passing lane, right? So I'm thinking, ooh, there's a lot of like luck that's going on with some of these plays, and the accuracy isn't there. Jaden Daniels looked great, but that controversy with his elbow and stuff like that. So I didn't know his work ethic. If I would have known his work ethic, I would have wanted Jaden Daniels. Let's be real.
And I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm gonna talk about Jaden Daniels in a minute.
But yeah, and then when I looked at JJ, in my opinion, he was the most accurate out of that draft. He was poised. I get that he was in a run heavy offense, but at the same time, I was like, this is the guy that if he gets the right situation and he develops properly, the accuracy is one of the hardest things to get or to increase as a quarterback. If you can at all, right? There have been lots of examples in the league, going back to like even just early, thinking about like Cam Newton, right? Like he couldn't, not until he hit New England, where he actually started getting really good like completion percentage, right? So like he was always in that low 54-56%. He hits freaking New England, and now he's completing at a 60 to 65%, right? Massive jump. But it was probably because of the scheme and everything like that. But it's hard, right? It's super hard to teach or grow your accuracy once you're at this level. So I was like, let's give me this guy, give him some time. I think he can develop into that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm gonna get to you, T-Bass. It's brought your own right now. Your song, everything's good, T-Bass. We can hear you. Say something. All right, cool.
No. Go ahead. I'm listening to you guys. I just want to join the debate.
Let's go.
I like debating football.
So this is my thing about Jaden Daniels, and I'm gonna throw CJ Stroud in there and Bo Nix too, right? So we see these lists that come out during the offseason about ranking quarterback and stuff like that. I can't put Bo Nix or Jaden Daniels on these top quarterback lists until I see what they do in their second year. Because the one thing that we have to, put in account on second year is now the NFL has relative tape to kind of like, hey, you get what I'm saying? So you see guys like Jaden Daniels, and it's like, I live in San Bernardino. He's a San Bernardino guy. My daughter goes to the high school that he went to. It's all great, right? I love him. But at the same time, you can kind of see, especially in that Green Bay game, he couldn't get it done like he was getting it done last year because teams have already game planned to take away what he's good at. CJ Stroud is dealing with that again in his third season. So it's just crazy the fact, like, we got Viking fans sitting out here that are basically like, damn, Jason McCarthy got to do this. But look at what these other young quarterbacks are doing. Let's talk about the struggle of Jaden Daniels. And he's hurt right now, too. He's not even playing this week for 2 straight weeks. So it's kind of like, I'm not trying to say they're exact parallels, but it's like ESPN, CBS, Fox Sports, talk about that shit. You get what I'm saying? Like, talk about a guy who basically took his team to the NFC, championship, right? And then now his offense can't get shit going after they went and got him a left tackle, another receiver, and they basically had a lot of money this all season, and now he can't move his offense. But we want to sit here and talk about McCarthy. Like, you get what I'm saying, fellas? Yeah. Like, let's talk about all of them.
Like, for me,
go ahead.
I was just gonna quick moment. I was gonna say that's the same reason why I haven't made up my mind on even like Jordan Love, because I still have to see enough to where I go, okay, now I can confidently say I know who he is. But the guy is throwing interceptions on third down. Like, bro, that is rookie quarterback mistakes or freaking backup quarterback mistakes from a guy that's supposed to be a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. I'm like, this is why I don't make these broad freaking declarations of really anybody that's super young, because it takes time. And sometimes when you do that, you experience some of the hardest falls, bro.
Go ahead.
a few things come to mind. Okay, the last comment about Love. You know what? Brett Favre's whole career was making stupid ass rookie mistakes. I mean, serious. And they said he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Loves it about the same situation that Brett Favre was on this year. A really good defense and a really good running game. Brett Favre completed like 12 passes in the Super Bowl when he won. It wasn't anything about Brett Favre that year. Great defense and a running game. Okay. 2, I'm still a firm believer. You're talking about Jaden Daniels. Lamar Jackson's a unicorn. My theory is see young quarterback run a lot, see young quarterback get hurt a lot. I'm still a firm believer in that shit. So, everybody was saying McCarthy's going to have 600 yards rushing and shit. I don't want to see that because I don't want to see that shit. I do not want
scramble to throw, not scramble to run. That's what I want out of a quarterback.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, he scrambles, but he doesn't really get hurt. He gets hurt in the pocket a whole lot more.
Well, his career's not over yet either. Yeah, and so third thing is about your sophomore year. You can say that in any sport. Mm-hmm. Your talent gets you in the door, a certain talent. But then when you have tape on you, like let's say a pitcher, he's got a great 2-seam fastball. But if that's all you got, and they get tape on you, you don't come up with secondary and third pitches, you're out of the league real quick. You might have a great rookie year and then get shelled. If you're a batter and they find out you can't hit the slider, you're going to see.
You ain't never hit it again.
Slider.
Yep.
So that's the thing I've always been saying about Dallas Turner is, okay, will he learn? Everybody was he's got the best spin move in football, last year. Spin move. You don't think all those tackles haven't seen great starting tackles, have seen great spin moves every game? You better come up with something else, some other moves. And so, when the tape gets on you, they know if that's all you have,
I can beat it.
That's why guys like Myles Garrett are so good.
Yeah, because Myles Garrett has a lot of different
everything. He's got a deep bag. Holy crap, man.
And then my fourth thing is on J.J. McCarthy at Michigan. Did you see some of his completions were to wide open guys? As you said, run heavy team. They probably got 10 men in the box. It's going to be real easy for a quarterback to complete passes. Absolutely. Now he's on a level to where it's going to be contested passes and the window's a lot tighter. Here's the thing I did about J.J. McCarthy. I looked at the NFL draft the year before he left, the year he got drafted, and then last year. You know how many Michigan players were drafted?
No.
In those 3 years? 29. By far and away, the most. I think Alabama was next with like 18 players. So he played with such a stacked team. His whole Michigan career, and in the NFL, it's a lot more level playing field. And when I point these things out to people, they're like, "Oh, you're a hater. You're a J.J. McCarthy hater." But I'm like, no, he's got a big uphill climb.
He does. But I think that uniquely prepares him for these first 2 years of development because he has been a game manager, really. Let's be real. In Michigan, everybody else, he had a stacked roster, like you're saying. And guess what? In the NFL, he has a stacked roster with a great coach, with a great defense, right? So,
but he's not going against Northwestern and
the competition. Some games, in the NFL, in college, sometimes you don't, unranked teams. There's such a huge amount of teams, right? So there's also that factor as well. But at the same time, there's a parallel there. That's probably why the Vikings wanted him, because it's like, okay, so you're accustomed to having a team first kind of like focus, right? You don't have to be out here throwing 40 times a game and if you'll be comfortable handing off the ball just as much as when we ask you to throw the ball, you'll be comfortable with that, and we'll just kind of teach you and build you around that skill set.
Here's,
you know what I mean?
Here's a question I got when I hear JJ McCarthy was handpicked by Kevin O'Connell. He was the guy they wanted all along. If you remember how that draft fell, here's my opinion. The Vikings were comfortable with either Penix or McCarthy. They probably had them rated both about the same. Maybe Penix even higher. Maybe they wanted Penix more than thing. And they just sat back there and let the draft fall to them. And then once one of those guys were off the board, they moved up, made sure they got one of them. So there's theory that that's the guy they wanted all along, and he was handpicked. I think maybe they had Penix rated higher.
No, you gotta talk more about that, because think about this though, right? If they really went out there and they selected McCarthy and they knew McCarthy was a guy, then why the hell were they trying to trade up to get maybe number 2 or number 3? McCarthy wasn't gonna go 1 or 2 or 3. We all knew that number 1 was going to be Caleb. Number 2 was either going to be May or Daniels, right? So why were they even trying to trade up? They were trading up and other guys.
And it's silly to think, well, the Vikings said he's their guy. Of course they are. After they get
of course they're going to say that. It's like straight out of the New England playbook. You just say the right thing for the media. No, nothing else. No, leave no doubt.
What do you expect him to say? Well, he was our last option.
What we really wanted was Caleb, and then Drake May went, and so we were panicking and we took JJ. It's still so open. My biggest concern about him is accuracy, throwing in contested throws that he never had to do at Michigan, because he's not going to see too much 10 11 guys in the box,
and it's going to be sink or swim whenever he actually plays. It's going to be sink or swim.
If Jordan Mason becomes that guy and their offense runs through him, and they're like, man, this guy, we need to have 8 9 in the box because they're worried about that, we may see some of that kind of those easier passes open up. That boy can run, and he runs hard.
I just don't think Kevin O'Connell has it.
Yeah, and he's not a run first guy, but
one can. Everybody says Mason 100 yards easy tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if. No, okay, once won a game with us. Let's have him throw it 60 times. I look back at the last 3 years, and the only games I looked at was like against good teams. And I looked at Kevin O'Connell's first year and then last year. I threw out the middle season where the QB was injured.
QB's all over the place.
And then I looked at the games they won, the games they lost, all close games. I did, both Packer games, both Detroit games. I think I did Dallas the first year, Philly the first year, both New York games. Last year I did both Rams games and stuff.
Not a lot of running.
When the run pass ratio is over, I had it written down somewhere, is over like 66 or 67%. They've only won 1 game against quality teams. And then when it's in like the 62 to 61%, they didn't lose any games. And of course, people say, wow, well, they were behind and stuff in these games, But then I looked at like the first quarter scores, and they were all still competitive if they weren't not winning. So, I don't know why he's not learning from that, but,
In the first 2 years, though, we also took a ton of like a ton of penalties that were just our mistakes, false starts, just stupid penalties that is just undisciplined play, right? And that also put us behind and lost some momentums and stuff. But it's true. It's true.
Here, guys, I found it. So 2022 Green Bay win after the first quarter, up 7-0. 32 passes, 28 rushes, 53%. Philly, they got beat. They were down only 7-0 after the first quarter. 46 passes, 9 rushes, 83%. Detroit,
I remember that game.
Was a win in 2022. Yeah. They were up 0-7, 41 passes, 24 rush, 63%. Dallas, the loss, they were 71%. Detroit, the loss, they were 70%. Green Bay, the loss, 64%. New York Giants was the unicorn the first game, 72%. No change in the playoffs, 72%. They lost.
Jump in, Mike.
20,
Jump in, bro.
2024, San Fran win 56%. Houston win 50%. Green Bay win 50%. Detroit lost 62%. Rams lost 56%. Green Bay win 65%. Detroit lost 71%. Rams lost 68%. When the ratio gets high, it doesn't look good for Kevin O'Connell's offense.
Wasn't year 3 though the Madison show? Or was that year 2?
Year 2 was the Madison show.
The Madison. Remember when Madison was our running back that year? Was that the year? What?
Yeah. I threw year 2 out because
he was in year 2. Year 2.
So,
yeah, that was
I did 2023 and 2020.
That season, I was okay with not running the ball.
This narrative is the Vikings got to get a quarterback that throws the ball all the time is a false narrative. Football games are still won with running the ball.
A balanced offense. Yes,
the running game is
1,000%. It changes the like the perspective of your opposing team, like their offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, because if they have to account for the run, if they have to, you know what I mean, like it forces them to choose different plays. But if they're like, these guys are just throwing the ball, you know, it makes it a lot easier for them to just stick to one.
It's not that hard. Sometimes you got to run the ball, even though you know it's gonna fail, because you got to keep the defense honest.
You got to keep them honest.
I mean, great quote from Lou Holtz. I read his book about the year he won the championship from with Notre Dame, and that was the Rockets' freshman year. And after one game, he said, you know, the Rocket dropped 2 balls that he was wide open deep, and he's really down on himself. And I told him, kid, that's only a quarter of it. Catching it, you just keep on getting open like that, and it gives the defense something to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Said he's going to be a good one, but you know, he dropped a couple balls, and I told him the key point is you're getting open. And same with running the ball. You know, you got to give them something to worry about.
Yeah,
I mean,
they just don't do it. They just got this on the game plan against it. Like, hey, they can't run the ball. We just gonna pin our ears back and pass rush.
I mean, that used to drive me nuts with Brad Childress when they line up with Peterson and there's 11 guys in the box. And like, why ain't you throwing the damn ball? There's got to be somebody open. Throw the ball once in a while. Get those guys to back off. Everybody would be on the line of scrimmage, and he's still running the ball. It just, you know, there's got to be somebody open. There has to be. So, you know, you can't run the ball too much, but you got to find that
balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need balance.
I think that's what's going to kick the Steelers' butts this weekend, because they haven't been able to get anything going on the ground. And if they can't get that going, and A-Rod has to throw for 40, 45 passes, it's a recipe for failure. It's going to look very similar to last year in London, man. If we're going to do that again.
I'm still a little worried about the Vikings run defense, but we'll see. I mean, we're all basing it on a really horseshit Kansas City offensive line.
Yeah, that's why you have to stack
in the game before they got shredded. And
200,
you know, the guys that we brought in with free agency, what are all their weaknesses on their report? Not good against the rush.
They're not run stoppers.
Yeah.
Run stoppers. So let's keep it moving, fellas. We've been on Viking talk for about an hour. I know. So let's get to the hot takes in the NFL. Y'all got any hot take for the NFL? It can be Vikings too. Might as well say it. But any hot take for the NFL right now?
Ooh,
watch a lot.
You
had a few.
Want me to say it? You want me to start since y'all thinking about it?
Think about
Right, look, I'm gonna say this right now. The Kansas City Chiefs dynasty is officially over. They will not make the playoffs this season.
I've heard that one, bro.
And the new beast in the West, I still call them San Diego, but I know they're LA now, is the LA Chargers.
I have one.
Go ahead. We're gonna keep them going. We're gonna keep them going. Go ahead, T-Bass.
And they'll probably lose tomorrow because I'm saying this, but the Philadelphia Eagles will flirt with an undefeated season.
Whoa. Whoa. That's
a heck of a hot take.
You got it's on you, Freddie. It's on you.
Mine,
you're gonna keep passing.
With the Eagles, it's the thing is like I have like a different intuition.
Any hot take. Just throw the hot take out.
For me, I feel like we might be closer to that season for the Eagles where they won like 10 and then lost out than them being as dominant as people give credit to. I think there's some stuff that isn't quite right underneath the surface, and guys like Saquon and their superstars are really doing a job of hiding these flaws, right? Did their young guy, the little skinny guy, I always forget his name,
Devontae?
The receiver,
Devontae.
Has he gotten many targets this season? I remember Zoe the one day game one, get him the ball, and he was like, "What the fuck?"
Here we go. Look. Let me
that's my thing.
Look what we got. Look what we got right here.
Hey, the man, the
Mike,
legend.
Hey, Mike, we are basically passing around the room and we're giving up NFL hot takes right now. Mine was the Chiefs dynasty is over and their reign on the AFC West is done, and the Chargers, is it. T-Bass went with the Philadelphia Eagles might have an undefeated season.
They'll flirt with it. They're gonna flirt with it, which means maybe one.
No, I'm not laughing because of at your take. I'm just laughing like, damn, that
would be rough for us.
That's the one right there. Like, I don't know if anybody can top an undefeated season. Like, regardless of whatever happens, like we've only seen that. Well, I've only seen it once, with the Patriots, and they shit themselves in the Super Bowl. But
Dan Marino.
Put it this way. What I'm saying is going into the final weeks, they
might be pushing.
All right, let's pass it to Mike. Go ahead, Mike. What you got, Mike?
Hey, I can't really be long. I have to handle some business, but I just wanted to ask y'all a question before I get off. And I know you're doing hot takes, but I have a question. So what is your biggest concern for going against the Steelers this game tomorrow? Like, what is your biggest concern? Like, is there any way that we can lose this game against the Steelers? Like,
absolutely.
What do you think our biggest concern is for that game?
I think I have a couple big concerns. First off, I have to get this off my chest. If you notice, the Vikings kind of every time they have a crazy big game or a big game that's all over the place. Like, think about the game a few years ago against Buffalo. They lay the egg the next week, right? So I'm worried about the momentum, especially going to another country. They might not. I'm not gonna say they're not gonna be ready, but they just can't. They can't get going. You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes they can't. This team has a hard time bringing momentum back in inconsistent games. You get what I'm saying? Especially when the game is super duper high. You get what I'm saying? Even with the 33-point comeback, they lost the next game. So it's kind of
mine is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a concern for me. It's the first time
really? The guy that's washed. A lot of people said he was washed. This is what I heard. Hey, listen, they said he was washed.
He's a veteran quality starter who they have not seen yet.
Right.
Not yet. Right. And another one too, for me would be would be Carson Wentz imploding. And what I'm saying about imploding is we understand and we know the first game, Kevin O'Connell didn't give him the whole full playbook. But what if Kevin O'Connell is like, dang, this guy can do it, and then he gives him everything.
Valid concern. Throwing the ball 60 times a game.
Yeah, he gives him everything, and he's like out there trying to slang it, and we get away from running the ball and controlling the clock. And the next thing you know, it's like we in the shootout, and just like T-Bag said, Aaron Rodgers still is that guy. He's a Hall of Famer, and Rodgers is like, okay, I can win this game now.
That's a lot of that's a lot of respect for Aaron Rodgers. I'm surprised I heard that from everybody.
For me, the things that I guess worry me, like, because at any point, like we know that these Steelers have not looked like the potential or the talent that they have on paper, right? My thing is, it's a thing of like they're just rusty. They didn't get enough preseason, so like September football the last few years has been some of the most unpredictable football that you can see, right? So the thing is, like, what happens if they kind of, this week is the week where they just find their groove? So that defense that looked mediocre the first 3 weeks actually elevates to their talent, and they actually give us a hard game. So that's something that worries me. The second thing is that just because A-Rod is washed doesn't mean that he can't turn back the clock for one game.
Don't do that.
Look like someone look like he did in the past, right? Now, is that what I think is going to happen? No, because when I look at everything that's going to happen,
everything that can go wrong, like Mike said,
but yeah,
everything
those are the only two areas that I feel like could be a problem. But when it comes down to it, it's one of those things where I think there's just so much areas that they're struggling to kind of find their groove, that our coaching staff is going to pick up on that and be like, okay, these are the areas where they're not solid right now, so let's push those areas. Let's see if they've gotten there, and let's capitalize in those areas and then start off strong, right? And then it's going to be one of those games where it's going to be a lot lower scoring game, but it's still going to be a decisive, like 10-point win. That's what my intuition is saying. Even
I have confidence in Brian Flores adjusting to their weakness. I do not have any confidence in Kevin O'Connell.
Wow, that's not a good sign. That's not good. I have
confidence in Caleb.
I have to say this real quick, and I'm gonna get off. I'm gonna leave y'all with this, like, because I like what I'm actually. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is gonna have a good game. I think Brian Flores, and I think this defense is going to dominate the Steelers offense. I don't think they're going to.
If he doesn't, the Vikings win easily.
But the thing about it, now that I'm thinking about it, if the rumors are true, Aaron Rodgers wanted to come to the Vikings, right? Prior to us signing Carson Wentz, prior to us even saying that JJ McCarthy was definitely the starting quarterback, he might have a little bit more of a swag to be like, yo, I'm going to stick it to the Vikings, and I'm going to try to make them regret not going with me. So you do have a good point, but I just don't see it. I hope it don't happen. If it happens, that's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad.
Like if it was week 8, then I'd be like actually worried that they've actually got it fixed, right? Because right now, their offensive coordinator's strategy, and then A-Rod, because like we all know that when A-Rod plays quarterback, he has a lot to say on how the offense runs, right? So there's a disconnect between the OC and him and trying to gel. So I feel like that's going to take time. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe by the end of the season, they make a run and they can try to sneak into the playoffs. But that's one of the biggest factors why they're struggling early. A-Rod joined extremely late. He wasn't there for voluntary OTAs. He wasn't there for like half of the off season, right? And it shows, right? That offense is struggling for a reason. But week to week, they're going to start figuring things out and start to get better. Like how good, I don't know, but
he's a veteran. There ain't too much he hasn't seen.
And he's one of the best of all time. So I get it. You got to
go into the fact too, like I understand like they're going to be in like 3 tight end sets, but they still got DK Metcalf and
really Barber. Oh my god.
Yeah, and one thing too is like DK Metcalf. If you look at the measurements, he's so much bigger than any cornerback that we have on our roster. And, that's true. And maybe, I'm not saying he's going to get downfield and, get a 50-yard bomb, but maybe those contested passes, against these smaller corners could be a problem. Like it's a lot. I'm glad you asked this question, Mike, because sometimes, we get too positive as Viking fans and we just say only the positive thing. But this is actually like looking at, the other side of the things, like what could actually go wrong. And these things are, they are all possible,
Yeah.
Here's one thing I have confidence in Carson Wentz. He's not going to get real tightened up in a game. The dude's living his dream right now. He's just enjoying it. Why can't we?
Sling it.
I mean, he's like all of us when we were kids in our backyards. He was the quarterback of the Vikings.
Yeah.
And he's living the dream. And he's just enjoying this ride, man. I mean, I don't think he's going to get, overexcited or
gonna get rattled.
He's
KLC's the weakness. Is that what I'm hearing the most though? Like out of everything, because it seems like y'all don't have faith in KLC.
I didn't.
No, I 1,000%
do. Today, I didn't.
I don't.
You don't like KLC?
I don't have faith.
I didn't throw no shots at him today. Like I didn't.
Okay.
I don't. I still don't have faith in him making in-game adjustments, and I'm scared of him going into whatever you want to call it, turtle shell mode, and start throwing the ball on every down.
Oh, and we got to bring this up too, though. Justin Jefferson said on camera one interview that one of the hardest defenders that he actually had to face was Jalen Ramsey. Right now, we all know Jalen Ramsey is not what he used to be. I never was a Jalen Ramsey guy. I used to always feel he got burned a lot, and he made a few plays to make him look good. But the thing Jalen Ramsey can still do is he can talk trash and get into another person's head.
Yeah.
Physical. Yeah.
He physical.
I don't. He's getting cooked. And I don't believe it. He's getting cooked.
But Mike, you got to look at it like this though. When
his name's bigger than his play.
When Jair Alexander got into Jefferson's head, Jefferson had a bad game. When the Detroit Lions third string cornerbacks last year in the end of the season, they got into our receiver's head with all the jarring, all the physicality. They did that, and they actually took them out of the game. And it's not. I understand, that.
Hold on.
What?
Hold on, bro. You just said. All right, I don't even think it's that JJ got out of it. Didn't play. Like he didn't play well, but I think it's more of the quarterback not getting the ball to him. Like I don't think that game he was dropping a whole bunch of passes and he couldn't get open. It showed. If you
want to be the big dog and known as the GOAT, you got to show up in big games, and he hasn't in his career yet.
If you
want to be the GOAT, show up in big games. Period.
You're only as good as your quarterback.
No excuses.
I understand it from the quarterback standpoint, but if you look at the tape and you look at the game film and you actually start breaking it down, Jefferson has the problem with physicality. That's his drawback. Addison does too, because Addison is a lighter, smaller guy. All I'm saying is I understand that Jalen Ramsey is not in his prime anymore, and we don't even know if Porter Jr. is playing. But what I'm saying is though, they have an advantage because they can try to get in our receiver's head, jamming them at the line, talking crazy to them to kind of get them off their game. And if you go back to the Lions game, they were basically playing their third stringers. And we can always say like, Sam Darnold wasn't getting the ball. But if these guys if their routes are getting cut and they're getting contested, they're getting pulled, all this stuff is happening doing their routes. Like you can't throw it to them because it's
I totally understand your train of logic and everything, and everything you said makes 1,000% sense. But if you guys, if you're like I played competitive sports and mostly just soccer, but like if you're having to resort to your trash talking as the way that you're going to try to get advantage over a player that's just more skilled, you're in a fucking world of hurt. That's one.
I have a great question then for you playing competitive soccer. Now they're playing at a soccer field that they haven't had an NFL game since '97. So my question is, if the turf's different than what the players are used to, who's going to suffer more, Pittsburgh or Minnesota? Let's say it's like a turf of.
That better not be the excuse.
No, the thing is,
Brazil.
That better not be the excuse.
Up in Canada, like all our competitive soccer fields and that are sod. So for me, it was always just grass. And the biggest issues that I had to deal with a field that's grass and not like actual turf is that the inconsistency of the ground, right? Because sometimes if they cut the grass and it looks perfect, it might be flat and all of a sudden you might get a little dip. And that was always my biggest fear, because I have had a lot of ankle injuries and knee injuries, because when you're full sprinting and you hit a little divot like that, you can snap your shit up. So I've seen it happen so many times, right? So that's what scares me about a soccer field. But I feel like that specific stadium is they play a lot of big games there, right? So I'm hoping that
but
isn't going to be a factor.
The stadium they played in Brazil, they play a lot of big soccer games there. And last year, that turf was terrible. That's what I'm worried about. They fixed it this year. It was a totally different thing because the NFL stepped on board. My concern is the games in England, they've been playing every year. They know how to prepare that field. There hasn't been a game at this field since 97. It was a preseason game. And so there's a little concern for me, the quality of.
Oh, Mike, I know you gotta get out of here. What else?
Yeah, I gotta get out of here. Yeah.
What else you got, bro?
Oh, what? Oh, that's all I really had to ask, man. But I just look at it like this: like getting back to like, Justin Jefferson not getting open, or he got in it. Jalen Ramsey got in his head, or Alexander got in his head. I always look at it like I think about. I'm not saying Justin Jefferson is up there, Randy Moss, but I think about when Randy Moss went. No, he's nowhere. I'm not trying to come at JJ, but he ain't Randy Moss. All right, so when Randy Moss was with the Raiders, people said that Randy Moss was cooked. People said Randy Moss was washed, and guess what? It was that quarterback more than anything.
No. Randy Moss quit. He quit
because the quarterback sucked.
No, he quit. He got traded to the Raiders. Quit.
Who was their quarterback?
He quit. I don't care who the quarterback
Doesn't
was.
matter. Yeah.
That matters.
He quit.
You're a professional player. You're getting paid to play no matter who the quarterback is. I could be out there. You play the game.
That's my point. Let me finish my point. When he went to the Patriots, what did he do?
He was with the best quarterback that's ever played the game.
Exactly, though. But people said he was washed. No, the quarterback matters. You can't have a scrub of a quarterback throwing you the ball. Kirk Cousins always choked in big games. Sam Darnold didn't have. Sam Darnold's first year that he actually had good was last year, y'all, and he didn't play good in primetime games.
But I'm not gonna.
I agree with Mike actually a little bit here, because
you can't just say a wide receiver is getting stopped because someone is trash talking them. Like, come on, bro.
I'm gonna agree with
or
you,
being physical with them. Like, that's not the full story. The quarterback is a big factor because he has to throw the ball to the wide receiver.
Yo, I'm gonna agree with you, and I'm gonna actually agree with both of you guys, because I understand that the diva in him is what made him quit, right? But also at the same time, if you put yourself in his shoes, right? Or if you were in that situation where you perceive yourself as one of the best and you get thrown to the Raiders, the quarterback, the team, everything is the reason why you quit as well. So like if he would have gotten sent to a team that was at least competent, do you think he would have quit? That's the thing. I don't think so.
Great players should elevate their teams.
I'm gonna say he also had the diva gene in him too.
I have to be honest. Randy Moss is probably one of the greatest receivers to ever do it, right? But Randy Moss even said some of his time, even in Minnesota, Oakland, and even with New England, that he would basically not play on certain plays.
I think he said take plays off.
He will take plays off, right? So I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm gonna give him super negativity because of that. But we can see, like, I watched a lot of Randy Moss games with Minnesota and with Oakland. Y'all know my dad's a big time Raider fan, and you would see, like, especially with the Raiders, like he wasn't even running full speed. Like he was just out there, just like, all right, I'm gonna get the route done. If I get it, I get it. That's it. And then when he got traded, it was like his whole career was like rejuvenated. I remember y'all know I'm in California, right? I remember commentators and like, Randy, just like Mike said, Randy Moss is cooked. Randy Moss is done. It was even talk at that time when he was in Oakland that he wasn't going to make the Hall of Fame because he wasn't the same guy. Even though he was like putting up, I think he still had 1,000 yards here, 1,000 yards there, but it wasn't like
hundreds. Yeah,
it wasn't Randy Moss.
It wasn't Randy Moss.
No, not
right.
But I agree with both. Can you young guys get off this 1,000-yard mark for receivers and running backs? That was a number that was established during 12-game seasons, not 16, 17.
That is true, though. That is true, but
it should be about adjusting for inflation, for lack of way of saying it.
1,000-yard season now, I think, is 52 yards a game.
1,500 nowadays. But like I said, I agree with both you guys because I understand. I've actually been on really good teams growing up. And even to the point where I was brought onto the select team where they bring the best guys from the travel organizations and say, we're going to put a team together. And we basically just go do exhibition games against a bunch of players. Right. So I've been on both sides. I've been on a team where I was literally the entire offense. You know what I mean? And I didn't care that my team didn't perform. I just loved playing the sport. I had a different mentality. I didn't have that diva mentality. I was just like, yo, I don't care how many goals you let in. If you guys do a good job, if you guys feed me the ball, I will score goals. And that's what we did. And sometimes we won games, and sometimes a lot of times we lost games. But at the same time, it was a different personal thing. Like Randy Moss, that's his prerogative and his perspective and why he played like that. In my experience, when I played, I didn't do that. I went all out every single time because that's all I know how to do. I don't know how to just turn it down and play like mediocre because my team is playing mediocre. I never once threw a tantrum. Guys, I got 4 goals in the first half and you guys have let 5 in. Like, I never was that guy. I never. And I was like, okay, you guys let 5 in. That means I score another 4 in.
And I bet you on the really good teams that you were on, you had several guys that did the dirty work.
They did. That's the thing. I know. I
that's what great teams have to have is the guys who do the dirty work.
There was a guy, Robbie, on the team, this Italian kid, and then this other guy, this Greek kid, Andrew Z. These 2 guys were my glue guys, man. They just knew. There's sometimes where when you have I played left wing, so sometimes I'd have to, based on what was going on, I'd have to come back to the midfield and play more like a midfield to advance the ball. When they were on the field, I had to do none of that. I just had to beat my one-on-one defender and just put the ball in the net. There was times where I was like, I don't even have to think about what's going on there. I just need to watch the defensive line and wait. And as soon as I see Robbie get the ball, as soon as I see Andrew pick up the ball, I know they're going to send it. And as soon as I hear that ball come off the feet, I'm just gone. You know what I mean? And it's a
who's the guys?
Play a game.
Who's the guys on the Vikings that are the guys who do the dirty work? Because I think every winning team, great team, has to have several of those guys.
Let's say both their tight ends do dirty work. Both their tight ends, especially Oliver. Oliver, he knows.
Oliver,
he's
do you really think Hawkinson does dirty work?
Hey, Jaden McCarthy doesn't score that touchdown against Chicago, running it in without Hawkinson giving that block. Hawkinson this season has actually excelled with his blocking ability. And I think now, especially last game, or while we're seeing Hawkinson get more catches and especially get a touchdown, is because now we actually have a real left tackle there to where Hawkinson doesn't have to, stay in for pass coverage or chip. He can actually go out there and actually run a full route. So if we're talking about dirty work, I can.
So let me get it this way. Wait. Let's go back to the 80s. Okay, who's the guy on the ball? The team that we go back to the 80s or even the 90s that would be willing to constantly go across the middle to catch passes and get their head knocked off. Mm-hmm. Who's that guy? And then who on defense is the guy willing to?
A lot of guys that we've seen do the dirty work.
Hey, yo, I gotta get off though, man. I want to say God bless y'all. Have good chat, and I'll still be listening. But yeah, we're gonna win. We're gonna win tomorrow. We're gonna win tomorrow.
Yeah,
30. I'm gonna say 33. The 17 final score. Vikings win.
I like it.
It's a beatdown. It's a beatdown. All right, y'all.
2 weeks in a row.
Later, dude. Now, my glue guys, for me, the guys that immediately come to my mind is Price, because without the field position that he's given us at times, it really makes a factor. The next guy, Josh Metellus, right? He is definitely
So Metellus is like the guy that if a team's running the sweep, he's going to be the guy that's going to go take on 2 linemen at once and get plowed over, but he's taking out 2 blockers for the other guy to make the tackle. Okay.
And then Darisaw. Those 3 guys are the first 3 guys that came to mind as soon as I thought about it. Although there's probably others that are really good. Harrison Smith, although he puts a lot of work in there, his ability to see things and communicate to the defense what he's seeing is unparalleled. Last week, we were talking about how he ran up to the line of scrimmage and he moved Ivan Pace out of the way and said, "You stand right here." And then the snap goes and he makes the tackle. His vision, his leadership, he's definitely at his age now, because we can't rely on his athleticism like we once could, and his ability. He's still he's just so good.
Every great team needs that, in baseball. You need the guy that's willing to go up and get beamed to get on to give the home run hitter a chance to win the game in the ninth.
Exactly.
And nobody talks about the guy that, he leaned into a pitch and took a 99-mile-per-hour fastball and got on base. So, this guy could go up and hit the 2-run home run to win. You need guys like that on all the great teams. I just, in the past, you've seen guys like, you remember Chris Walsh, the receiver that was a special team. He played in probably the 90s.
Okay.
That guy, Jimmy Kleinsaucer.
Kleinsausser.
Guy that did dirty work. I just don't see those guys on the current team. I want a guy on the team that when you need to change the momentum, I want to see a guy get in a fight. I want to see a guy get in a fight.
Well, I grew up watching hockey. I know what that kind of does to a team when you see your enforcer go out there and stand up for your team. It lights a fire under your ass. But I grew up in Canada. I watch a lot of hockey, so I get that.
I want somebody to be on the bench, get in people's faces. Hey, quit playing like ass. Let's go. Come on. Let's go.
My boy Stephon Diggs, who gets the bad rap all the time, but when he used to go at guys on the sideline, he's just a diva. He's a diva. I mean, let's get it. But guys, let's get on. Just keep it moving because I'm not trying to be here too long. Let's talk about
one last hot take. Mike Vrabel is going to be coach of the year.
Damn, that is a hot take.
That's a hot take right there.
All right, so let's
my last hot take is Brian Flores will be the head coach of the New Orleans Saints next year.
I'm not seeing that happen.
I hope not.
I'm not seeing that happen. All right, so let's keep it moving. So we're just gonna pick some games real quick. Let's have some fun. Pick some NFL games. We got the New Orleans Saints against the Buffalo Bills.
This one seems like one of those games that it's like, oh man, this is an easy pick. This is the Bills and stuff like that,
Bills, right?
Now, I know the Saints aren't at that level yet, but I like what I'm seeing out of Spencer Rattler. I still really much like Alvin Kamara, even though he's past his prime. I still remember him getting tackled and like spinning out, and you're like, oh, the run's over. And then he somehow stays up, and then he goes for another 10 yards, hit a tackle, and then he falls in the end zone. And you're like, what the hell? Nobody can take this guy down. The raw potential that they can really just give it to someone is there. Now, where they are in being able to do that, they're still a little ways away, but they can very much show a flash. So I could very much well see like a close first half and then the Bills running away with it. So I'd give me the Bills by 10.
What you got, T-Guys? Bills
for you bettors, Buffalo by at least 13.
Okay. I'm gonna say this about this game. It's the NFL, and on any given Sunday, anybody can win a game. I think this game might be closer than what we think because people be playing for pride. So I'm gonna still go with Buffalo, but at the same time, it's it's the NFL. So I don't understand why the NFL scheduled it like this, because it's crazy. You got the Browns actually beat Green Bay last week. This week they play against the Lions. Then they play against us. Are they going to play against the Bears after us? Like, I don't understand. But so who you got? Cleveland Browns versus Detroit Lions. I'm gonna kick it off. I'm gonna pass it to Frade. I'm gonna go to T-Bass. We're gonna just keep going around. I got Cleveland winning this game. I think Cleveland found something in their running game with Judkins. I understand Judkins, wasn't there throughout the whole offseason, whatever. And the thing about how you can beat the Lions is you got to keep their offense off the field. And the Browns actually have a great defense over there. And if they can consistently run the ball and keep the offense off the field, they got a shot. So I'm taking the Browns against Detroit. Freddie, there you go.
My if I just go based off my fandom, I would pick the Browns. But the thing is that I have definitely put some bets or even added some parlays and stuff like that where Cleveland's in a similar situation to this. And everything that you've just said, I've rationalized as well. And then they go out and do nothing. So it's so like, because of how I've consistently try to find games like this where the Cleveland Browns can steal a game against a good team. It's really hard. It's really hard for me to make that pick. That's why last week I didn't pick the Browns over the Packers, even though I was like, I really hope they beat them but I just I've been burned so bad by them trying to make that pick that I just can't do it anymore. But I do understand your logic, and I definitely agree that is the way that they're going to do it. And Myles Garrett, like when we talk about the Browns, right? Like they are a dumpster fire. They are who they are, and they're so inconsistently on the offense. But Myles Garrett in the last like 10, 15 years, he's one of very few defensive players in this league where offensive coordinators literally game plan around him. There was an article done about it last year. I forget which publication it was, but that's what opened my eyes, because I was like, holy moly, because it was when we were getting ready to face the Lions and Aiden Hutchinson. Everybody's like, generational talent, this and that. And, we got to account for this. And then I'm like, okay, hold a second. Let's look at other guys that demand that kind of respect. And then I dove into it and I was like, wait, there's only been like 3 guys like in the last 20, 30 years that have commanded that respect. And the current one is Myles Garrett. They don't do that for Aiden Hutchinson. They don't do that from Matt Crosby. And I was like, oh, so I understand how good and how deep Myles Garrett's bag is, and at any point he can break a game wide open, and all of a sudden it can go their way. But it's the Browns, and that dumpster fire has burned me so many times. So I can't pick them. But
who you got on this game? Browns versus the Lions.
Detroit at home equals big advantage. Detroit.
Okay. Oh, he said keep it moving.
Ford Field is a hard place to win in.
We got a divisional game right here. Tennessee Titans versus the
I'm going to take the Titans here because one, I really like Cam Ward. So I like underdog stories. I want to see him become an NFL quality quarterback. So, and these Houston Texans are reeling, man. Like if you go check out, I stay in tune with Houston because they were some of the most loudest fans that we had last year before they played us. And I was like, okay, I'm going to remember all you fuckers, you know what I mean? And I still go to fucking 713 Houston, old Ruben over there. And I go to his channel every week just to remind him that, hey, remember when you said that we weren't shit and that you guys were going to come in and beat us at fucking, I thought you guys said you guys are going to be in 2 years, you're going to be fucking better than us. And and I constantly remind him every single week. And I jump in his lives to remind him all the time. So that's one of those franchises that I've kind of kept up, and they were wild last year until they started struggling, right? But it's rough what's going on right now down there, and it's very hard to pick on the Houston to win right now. So I'm taking Tennessee on an upset here.
Houston figures.
Oh, go ahead, T-Bass.
Houston figures it out this week. Danielle Hunter has a big game, 2-3 sacks, bunch of pressures. Houston.
I'm taking Houston because I feel CJ Stroud will actually figure out this offense. They're getting Christian Kirk back from injury, and he's going to give him somebody else on the outside that he can throw the ball to. I know Christian Kirk is not a top-notch receiver, but he's solid. And I think that with CJ Stroud, he needs guys to actually run good routes to get open so he can get the ball out. I'm taking Houston, man. I'm taking Houston.
I get that.
All right, so let's keep it moving. We got a stinker. We got Carolina versus New England. We can get this one out quick.
I'm going to New England. I'm just gonna.
got?
New England could have won the game last week if they didn't freaking throw the game. Yeah, like half of those turnovers were just as much of a it was more the Patriots' fault rather than the defense coming up with big plays, right? And when you look at the game and you look at how both teams are playing, I'm like the Patriots look better for long stretches of the game at points. They just fumbled the game away. So yeah, it could be a 50-50 coin flip, but I'm going to take the Patriots here.
T-Bass, who you got? Carolina?
I like the head coach. I like New England.
Okay. I'm gonna go this one. Bryce Young puts this together. You have a good game by Tedero McMillan. I mean, I'm kind of biased because I got on my fantasy team. I need some points, but but they got some good receivers over there, and I'm hearing that Chuba Hubbard is questionable. He might not play, but those young receivers that he got out there, I mean, just get open, guys. It's the same thing with CJ Stroud. Like you have to get open so your young can.
It's the Panthers. Just don't suck is their motto.
Yeah. I'm taking Carolina. I'm taking Carolina on that one.
That's awesome.
All right, so we got this one. This one. It's not the game of the week, but this is one a lot of people are going to talk about. And you got Jackson Dart starting for the first time, in the NFL. So against the Chargers, which are led by Harbaugh. I mean, T-Bass, I'm gonna let you go first on this one. Who you got?
Well, West Coast teams going to the East Coast, especially New York. Generally, they struggle. So this is my upset pick, the Giants.
Ooh. Okay. T-Bass, let them know. I like that.
For the hot takes, man. What's going on? Okay, Freddie, who you got?
I totally agree. This is the type of game that's a trap game. Like I am very much on the Chargers. I'm very impressed of what they've done. To me, I feel like they've done what most teams would do in 3 years in one. So I'm very impressed with what they've done so far. Now, like you were saying, this has trap game written all over it. And two, like I have a soft spot for the Giants because I feel like they remind me like when we were just raw talent and had nothing else. And like it's like we would see flashes like, man, if all these guys could freaking get it together, if we had a good play caller, if we had a good coach, we'd be like, we'd actually have something, right? And I'm like, whoa, that's the freaking Giants right now. Like they got incredible raw talent, Sexy Dexy, freaking Malik Neighbors, they got their left tackle, I forget his name, he's back now, but he's really, really good tackle, right? So they got like all this raw talent, but they can't put it together. So I was like, one of my bold predictions this year was like the Patriots and the Giants were going to shock people and how much better they look this year. I didn't say it was going to transition to wins, but people are going to be like, oh, maybe they might have something if things keep going in this direction. So, but Jim Harbaugh, I feel like it's gonna be a good game, closer than people will give credit, but I just believe too much in Harbaugh. I'm gonna take like a 3-point win in a snooze fest.
This is the game I'm gonna be dialed into because I want to see what this running game is gonna look like with Omari Hampton now that he's a quote unquote significant starter and he's not going to be sharing time with what's his name? Najee Harris, because Najee Harris basically actually TP, my bad, bro. I'm not talking shit. But look, this is why I think they're gonna win the game. I feel Harbaugh is going to actually lean in on Omari Hampton. And I mean, I would say the Giants D-line, they are legit. They are legit when it comes to them actually like rushing the passer and stuff like that. And I feel Harbaugh can kind of neutralize that by being able to run the ball and basically, have them on sled so they backing up a whole lot. This game, I don't think it's going to be a blowout because I think with with Jackson Dart, he actually gives you more mobility than Russell Wilson. And I think, at the end of the day, you got to chuck it up to Neighbors a couple of times because Neighbors is emerging and, he's the LSU receiver. So what do you expect from a guy that came from LSU playing receiver as of right
Absolutely.
now? So I think that's what's going to happen. But I still think that maybe the Chargers come out, come out with I would say a 7 to 10 point, win, but it ain't going to be like no damn blowout. It's going to be a running game from the Chargers, and that's what it's going to be. So let's keep it moving.
Yeah, totally a trap game though for these. Who
we got next?
1,000% a trap game. I love. Can we talk before we move on? Can we talk about Cam Scatterbo? That boy runs like exactly like I want a running back to run, bro. I love that kid. I love him. I'm telling you, the raw talent on that team. I'm telling you, in a year or two, we're gonna be really impressed with that team. Mark,
you know who Scatterbo reminds me of?
Peyton Hillis.
Peyton Hillis. Peyton Hillis was ass.
What? You never know. Peyton Hillis, but still he can
cover and never look back.
Give him some time. I did not give the credit to Christian McCaffrey because I was like, white running backs get injured. He's going to be out of the league by freaking year 4.
Let me ask
then he was amazing, and now he's suffering the injury. So like I was half right.
I don't like.
So I don't know. I am not going to put that on. I'm not going to put that on Cam Scatterbo because I like him too much, and I really like the way that he runs. But yeah,
hey TP, what you think about Scatterbo? Put it in the comments, man. Let me know. Let me know. But okay, we got this game right here. I already know who T-Bass because he said they go undefeated this season.
Yeah, but this is I'll go with my hot take, but this is going to be a competitive game.
Absolutely.
Okay, so who you got? The Eagles?
Me?
I'm going with my hot take.
This one is definitely one of those games that's going to be like an instant classic. I think we're going to see some struggling on both sides, of course, because both teams have shown that so far this season. But there's going to be some highlight plays. There's going to be some freaking massive swings of momentum all game, and it's going to come down to whoever takes control in the second half. Now, I would very much like it to be the Bucks, so then we kind of have a little bit of a foothold in the NFC. And I like Baker more than I like Jalen Hurts. So I'm gonna choose the Bucks in a 3-point walk-off field goal like they've been becoming the masters of recently.
I am taking the Eagles. I'm taking Saquon. I'm taking Jalen Hurts. And this is the one thing, like, I haven't said this about the Eagles or how I feel about them. Like, the Eagles are a good cohesive team because they can do everything that an offense is supposed to do when
they're built to win on the road against
when they need to do it. And what I mean by that is, like, if the game is muggy and they got to run the ball, they can hand it off. If the game needs passing yards, and they can start throwing the ball. I just think, like,
fear of the push.
Yeah,
Tampa Bay's got a great defense too.
They're built to a certain extent to where it's like they can withstand anything if they're, and it's kind of hard to beat. It's kind of hard to beat a team like that because it's like you would see, like, for the past couple of games, like, oh, they're not passing the ball. Jalen Hurts is like he's not doing this, and the next thing you know, it's like, oh, we got to win this game. Let's pass, and then they get it done. So it's like, yeah, I'm taking them. So
with that same criteria, though, last year, those Bucks went in and embarrassed the Lions and a bunch of like front runners. And they showed that they have that ability to win games. They're just not as polished as the Eagles are. Yeah. But I feel like it's going to be a close one, and these Bucks are going to take it.
So since you're already talking right now, Freddie,
Commanders. I don't even have to. All day by freaking 3-4.
Are we gonna see Kirk again this week? I don't know, but who you got?
This is going to be an ugly game, and if anybody has one of these two kickers on their fantasy teams, play it because it's going to be a field goal game. I don't think the offenses are going to do shit. I don't know. It's a coin toss. I guess I'll take the Falcons. They're at home. Falcons.
Okay.
For the home 3-point advantage.
I'm taking the Commanders. I'm taking the Commanders. I like what I saw last week, with their backup quarterback. I think it fits the offense. I like what they're doing out there. So, hey, it is that's why I'm taking the Commanders.
Here's another hot take. Our backup quarterback next year is going to be Marcus Mariota.
Hot takes.
Another reclamation project.
So who you got? Who you got?
I got Commanders by 3 scores.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on. Okay, we got this one. We got the Colts versus the Rams. The Colts coming in. The Colts are coming in hot. Daniel Jones looking like the MVP this year. They barely punt. Who you got? I think they're gonna get smacked in the mouth by the Rams. I think the Rams gonna come in here and be like, look, y'all got fool's gold. We're going to smack you real quick. We're going to show you what it's like in the NFL. Sean McVay going to dial some stuff up. You'll probably get a big game from Puka or maybe Devontae. So it's like, I'm taking the Rams, man. Straight up. Rams all day.
I feel like these Colts are better than a lot of people are going to give them credit. I feel like they're not the hype that they are, but they're a decent team. But I feel like the Rams have uniquely built their team. Like their offense is great, so they can compete with anybody. They can basically get into shootout. If they have to, they can do that. But the thing that they're really, really good at is stopping the run and rushing the passer. And that's something that Daniel Jones can struggle with and has looked extremely bad in the past. And if they can freaking start strong early and fluster him, it's going to be one of those situations that it doesn't matter how good Jonathan Taylor is. If they're constantly in the backfield, it's going to affect their game plan and their confidence. So I'm on the same side. I feel like this is where they're going to run into a team that's just uniquely beat. It's like uniquely built to be able to beat them. And it's like, these are the type, like, I feel like the teams that are playoff teams are going to be the ones to expose Indy. Right. And so that's what I'm expecting to see this weekend. By like,
you got T-Bass?
Rams by 10.
Yeah, Colts traveling to the West Coast. Midnight strikes. Cinderella, you pumpkin dropped on your ass. Rams.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's keep it. So I told you guys the Rams. So let's keep it moving. And I got some points about this one. And I told guys this, and people did not want to believe me. And I'm gonna say it again. This is concerning fantasy football. I told y'all out there, do not draft Travis Hunter in your fantasy league. I'm seeing right now he's probably one of the most dropped players because he's not giving you anything on offense, and you don't know. I think Jacksonville is a shit show. I'm sorry. I think the best thing Jacksonville has is Thomas Jr. That's it. Like that's it.
Struggling to start the year.
Yeah, he's struggling this year because it's his second year. And I think Frisco is going to benefit this year from losing last year and not having to play against first place teams like they normally have to do because they're always good. I think they're going to take advantage. I'm not sure if Purdy is playing. I mean, Mac Jones.
It sounds like he might start.
Yeah, it sounds like it, but I'm just saying, like, Jacksonville, when is a Jacksonville team ever going to reach their potential? When is Trevor Lawrence ever going to reach that potential that he has, that everyone's talked about the past couple of seasons? I'm taking Frisco by 14. And this is probably going to be the biggest blowout for me because I don't believe in Jacksonville at all. Go ahead, guys. Who we want to go?
McCaffrey will be this week's fantasy point leader and the 49ers.
Okay.
Yeah, they still, even as injured as they are, they still have some dynamic players that can really take it to these Jaguars. As good as they've seemed at times this year, they've equally looked as freaking bad as any team this year. So it's really hard to put any faith in Jacksonville. I just don't see it either. I feel like it might be like a lower scoring game, but yeah, like 10-point win from the San Francisco 49ers. I would not be surprised.
East Coast to West Coast.
On top of that.
Okay, so here, I'm gonna be watching this game. I'm a big Lamar Jackson fan, so I'm gonna be you guys. I'm just basically telling you who I'm taking. I think the Baltimore Ravens, they get it right. They stop fumbling. They stop shooting themselves in the foot. Derrick Henry runs the ball correctly, and he has a bounce back game. And I think I take them maybe 10 points over the Chiefs, because I think the Chiefs dynasty is over. The thing about the Chiefs that a lot of people don't want to talk about is the Chiefs really don't have nobody on the outside that can be dynamic to kind of like open everything up in the middle. Kelsey
is Worthy due back,
but he's when he plays, he doesn't really give them anything. You know, it's kind of like when is he going to pan out? They got Hollywood Brown. They got a lot of fast guys. They got Rashay Rice. Whenever he gets off his suspension, they don't really have a dynamic receiver on the outside that's going to command a double team.
Well, he got hurt early in the first game, and it was put out that they were going to heavily use Worthy.
Yeah, but if you
Worthy could also be
that.
They're going to get him the ball a lot. He's got elite speed.
Okay. I agree with you here, but like T-Bass was saying earlier, sometimes even if you're dropping the balls, and sometimes what's most important is that you're getting open. And if they have to account for Worthy and he's back, then that could open up some opportunities for these Chiefs to get the ball to Kelsey or whoever else is open as a result, right? But you know what I mean? But he had a separated shoulder, right? So I don't know how confident he's going to be, you know, taking hits and stuff like that. So it might play a factor. The thing, man, both teams have struggled to start the year. I just think there's way more raw talent on Baltimore as well. I feel like this is a more of a get right game, and it's not that I'm kind of gonna discredit what Kansas City is doing or say that they're washed or anything like that, because they still have Andy Reid, they still have Spagnuolo, right? And at any given time, they can cook up something to steal wins here and there. We've seen it time and time again, win games that they had no business winning, right? But with that being said, I know a lot of people have been, I know at least the Kansas City fans, I know one of their biggest, like, you know, trash talking things when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens, they say, hey, we're uniquely uniquely built to counter what Lamar Jackson and the Ravens do. That's why you guys can't beat us, right? And that's usually what they like to lead into, right? So there is still a factor of that, but I like the Ravens, and I think they're gonna steal one here.
Who you got, T-Bass?
Lamar and the Ravens still won't be able to figure out Mahomes and Reed.
Damn.
Book it.
It's their kryptonite. So I totally understand that. I get it.
All right. So
their backs are up against the wall.
So here we got this one right here. We got the Bears versus the Raiders. T-Bass, I'm gonna pass it to you first. Who you got?
Well, I think the Bears might be figuring things out. Bears.
Totally. I can see that too. I can see them kind of regressing a little bit to the mean, not all the way down to as bad as they looked in week 1 and 2 and stuff like that. But I feel like they can regress a little bit, because there's a lot of, like I keep harping, there's a lot of new on that freaking team. They got new coordinator, new playbook, new verbiage, new everything. So some games, everything just falls right. And then some games you get confused and you second guess things, or you do things that muscle memory kind of kicks in and stuff like that, right? So I see them still. I'm assuming that the Bears are now on an upward trajectory. I just don't know how good they are.
Well, the Raiders are a good team to be playing if you're going to regress a little bit.
Yes, exactly. 1,000%. But I also, with that being said, I really like Genty, and I really like Geno Smith. Geno Smith last year made me fall in love with footwork and in the pocket and stuff. And he did a spectacular job of rebuilding himself, right? So there's that potential. I feel like it's going to be a close game. I would not be surprised if either one of these teams won by three points. It's, to me, it feels like a freaking coin flip. But I'll lean towards and use my fandom, and I'm just gonna go with the Raiders with the upset by 3 points.
And this is what I'm going with this one. Tie. I'm going to tie.
It could totally be that. It could totally.
All I want from this game, and I'm sorry, is my fantasy team. I need Ashton Genty to win me a damn game this week. Okay, I'm desperate for a win in fantasy. I took him number 6 in the first round because I thought he was going to be the same guy who was at Boise State. So I don't really care what this game does. They can call it in the fourth quarter for whatever reason. I don't care. As long as Genty goes out there,
some yards, man. Yeah,
at least 20 points. Okay, tie. That's good for me.
Oh wow, guys! Penn State just scored with 40 seconds left. They're going to tie it up.
Uh-oh.
All right, so here we go. This is game of the week. This is the most talked game. You got the Dallas Cowboys against the Green Bay Packers. We know the storylines. Micah Parsons is coming back to Dallas. Let's take our purple glasses off and be honest.
Oh, I always am.
Who you got this week? Who you got against
Green Bay.
It's hard to pick against Green Bay here. It feels when I look at the Cowboys, they're a massive dumpster fire. That now everybody knows that they're a dumpster fire. Now they've been doing a good job of hiding over the last few years, but they've been a raging dumpster fire behind the scenes. But the one thing that they're able to do still is they have that puncher's chance. They can get into boat races with teams, and they can surprise people, right? They don't have the defense to stop anybody. They don't have all the other stuff that they need to be able to win those games when they get into boat races, but they can, right? I still think that Green Bay will probably get it back together here. There's a little bit of that added maybe motivation from the Cowboys side to be like, you know what I mean? Like let's just show Micah what he actually like left or whatever. So that could be a factor, but it is just too little for me to in good conscience choose the Cowboys. I think it's going to be the Packers.
I think Green Bay comes into this game with basically dropping it at the end of the game against, the Cleveland Browns last week, because they kind of had that game. I think Jordan Love gets it together. I don't even think Parsons has a big game. I think it's going to be like a Jordan Love game. So I think Jordan Love goes into Dallas, duels it, outplays Dak Prescott, and the Packers get the win.
Yeah, that's a good point about Micah.
The Packers get the win. Like it's really not too much I can say. Like I think the Packers are just an all around better team. So
that's a great point.
We got the JV teams. I don't understand why they eliminate.
Just to go back on the Micah Parsons thing, right? Like I like what you're saying, how he's not going to have a massive game. Like out of all the teams in the league, the Cowboys are the ones that know everything about Micah Parsons, his strengths and his weaknesses. So if anybody can game plan him out of a game, it's them. So yeah, I agree with you with that.
Cowboys. So the JV game, we got the Jets versus the Dolphins. I'm gonna just say,
is Justin Fields back? Is he back?
He's out of concussion protocol. I don't know if he's playing as of yet, but I mean, these two teams, and this is a divisional game for both of them. I'm taking the Jets, but Aaron Glenn. That's the only reason I'm taking the Jets, because of Aaron Glenn. And maybe the Jets win and McDaniels gets fired on Monday. So, they play on Monday. Maybe he gets fired on Tuesday.
Right after the game on Monday, actually.
right after the game. So, I mean, who you got, T-Bag? We can make this one quick.
Well, I live in Florida. I know Monday that tropical storm may be off the coast, and it may be a lot of rain. So something to keep an eye on, but I'll say the Dolphins.
Okay. You got Freddie.
I didn't think about that. Wow. Now if weather makes a big fact, that could be a massive factor. Slippery freaking field, freaking water on the ball. Like it could be one of those old school games where it's just a crap ton of running, you know what I mean? And a bunch of mud all over the place. With that being said, but if I ignore that, I I kind of like what I'm seeing in New York with Aaron Glenn and what he's done there. Now, I don't think they're like anything special yet, but given a couple years, if they commit and they let him cook, their offense looks different, right? Like I did not expect anything out of Justin Fields, and he looked pretty competent in week 1. And I like Tyrod Taylor, and I think at this point, I think I'm going to bank on Tyrod over Tua. So I'm going to go with the New York Jets in a snooze fest, like 13-10 or some bullshit like that.
Okay. I'm taking the Jets. So last game, the Bengals versus, we got a couple of duds this week, but
Bengals.
I'm taking the Broncos.
Broncos.
I'm taking the Broncos, man.
Me too.
I'm just taking them because I think what's his name? Jake Browning. I think he's probably still seeing ghosts from last week.
But this is a game when everybody thinks the team looked totally horseshit.
Yeah.
The next week, you're like, what the hell happened?
I'm
that's the NFL for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the Broncos straight up.
I'm taking them too, but
Me too.
Don't be surprised if it
just
looks
like
like the Bengals are a different team.
Mm-hmm.
That's the NFL.
Yeah. We know Jake Browning can throw for 300 yards, and that could be a massive factor to help them win the game and turn stuff around. But against this defense, I feel like they're going to also make him struggle like we did last week, and they're going to be looking at that tape and going, what did the Vikings do good? Because we have just in their building, they think they're the best defense in the league. And
I'm just saying,
they're looking at us and be like, if they can do it, we can do it. So
I'm just saying, on paper, this looks like an easy game.
But it could
generally that always is like
it could be the game of the week. You never know. All right, guys. So we done went through all the games, and we did Viking talk. So I'll just say, like, we're gonna get out of here right now, and let's just hope our Vikings.
Thanks, guys.
I
love debating football with you guys, man.
Me
no
too,
problem.
Man.
No problem. So
all right,
we're gonna get out of here right now.
Hey, turn on that Penn State game, 17-17 overtime.
We'll do.
Ooh. That's Oregon against Penn State, right?
This one.
Good.
Skol.